What's going on, beautiful people of the internet? So, this training is yet another training from my teachable course, Skinny Fat to Fizz Fit Freak in 45 days. If you want to see more of these trainings, then head over to my Instagram at underscore Garrett Wolf. Click the link in my bio, and then you will see a pillar that says Skinny Fat to Six Pack Abs in 45 days. All right, now let's get right into the training. What is going on, beautiful people of the world? My name is Garrett Wolf, and I am the host of the #1 podcast for people who are trying to go from saggy flabs to six-pack abs. I've built my body over the last 8 years, and in the last 3 years, I've helped hundreds of online clients shred unwanted fat and embody the best version of themselves. Now, let's jump right into today's show.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another training here in the Academy. This one is all about the phrase, "A lion does not concern himself with the opinions of sheep." Alright, guys? Now, the first time I heard this quote was actually a long time ago, but then I heard it again by Tywin Lannister from Game of Thrones. I don't know if you guys remember the scene that I'm talking about, but without any spoilers, I don't want to spoil anything, but basically Tywin Lannister said, "A lion does not concern himself with the opinions of sheep." And this is a very, very important topic to cover, because one thing that wreaks havoc on new fitness professionals or new fitness journey individuals like yourself is when they start going about a fitness journey, they run into all these kind of environmental issues, right? Or if you will, like external factors that kind of push them away from their goals, right? So for example, you might hop on this fitness plan and then everything's going good for the first week, the second week, everything's going fine, you're smooth, you're cruising into your goals, everything's looking up, right? You're super stoked. But then someone invites you out to dinner, and now you're left with a decision to make, right? You either go out to dinner and figure it out while you're there, figure out how to stick to your calories, figure out how to not indulge in overconsumption. You have to figure out if you can actually eat at that restaurant, and you have to kind of weigh the balances. Is it worth it to eat out with this person, or is it more worth it to stay home and stick to my goals and stick to my caloric restrictions? And I just want to make one thing incredibly clear about that, is if you want to go out and eat with a partner or a friend or whatever, and you're in the bulking phase, then you are absolutely fine to go out. There's a video later on in another week about how to eat out on a caloric restriction. There are a few tactics and mindset strategies that you can implement to actually eat out on a caloric restriction, but that's beyond the scope of this video. The scope of this video in specific is that you need to remind yourself every single time one of these environmental distractions comes into your life that a lion does not concern himself with the opinions of sheep. All right, guys, in this world there are sharks and there are minnows. There are lions and there are gazelles. All right, there are black panthers and there are... What does a black panther eat? I shouldn't have thrown in that third example. I actually have no idea what panthers eat, but an antelope maybe, or a deer. Panthers probably don't eat deer. Maybe a moose. I don't know. Where do panthers live? In the mountains, right? So they probably eat mountain goats and shit, right? Anyway, anyway. A lion does not concern himself with the opinions of sheep. So you need to ask yourself, when it comes to any day-to-day task, right? Are you a lion or are you a sheep, right? You need to make that decision, and you need to make that decision right now, because you can't just ask yourself that question every single time. You need to remind yourself what you are every single time. Because if you're questioning yourself, am I a lion or am I a sheep, you might lean towards scarcity and fall victim to these environmental habits, or these environmental rituals, whatever you want to call them. So you need to cement in your mind that you are a lion. You want to be a lion, and you are a lion because you're the writer of your own story, and you get to write each chapter. So chapter 1, you're a motherfucking lion. Just write it out right now. Write it on a piece of paper if you have to. Throw up posters in your environment. Change your background of your PC, your phone, something to remind you every single day that you are a motherfucking lion, you are a winner, and you don't need to concern yourself with the opinions of sheep. Alright, guys, this is something that comes into my life every single day. Since I'm in such deep positive momentum right now, though, these opinions kind of just brush right off of me. But I remember back in the day when I first started my fitness journey, and people would invite me out to dinner, and maybe I was on a caloric restriction and I couldn't really eat out with them. I couldn't really figure out how I was going to eat with my family and stay within my caloric restriction at the same time. But then I would remember to myself, if 99% of people do this action and they achieve this result, right? 99% of people eat whenever they're hungry, and that leaves them with a skinny fat physique, because that's what the average American's physique kind of looks like nowadays, is a skinny fat physique. So if the average person eats whenever they're hungry and has a skinny fat physique, then the lion, the 1%, eats in accordance to his nutrition goals and has a Fizz Fit Freak physique. You see what I'm saying? So you need to ask yourself, if or you need to tell yourself, if you're doing something contrary to what the masses are doing. So if your whole family is eating out, or your friends are all eating out, they're all going to a restaurant, that's fine. Those are normal activities. Those are normal, I don't want to say sheep activities, because going out and eating with your friends is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But that's what normal people do, and you're no longer a normal person, right? This is another reason I titled kind of a Fizz Fit Freak, or I coined the term Fizz Fit Freak, is because you're a physical fitness freak. You're literally a freak. It means all aspects of your life are in accordance or in correlation with your fitness goals, with your physical fitness goals. Because we all know the main pillars of life, right? Health, wealth, and relationships. Health and wealth go very, very hand in hand, and relationships go right in hand with that as well. So if you want to kind of live a high status life, or you want to live a life that's more important, or of high importance to you, then you need to understand that health, wealth, and relationships should be at the top of your concern. And so while it's healthy to go out and eat with your friends and to converse with all your friends and your peers, it's not healthy to just eat out and indulge in whatever you want and just eat whatever everyone else is eating just because they're doing it, because that doesn't accomplish the goal that you want to accomplish. That doesn't coincide with the goals that you've set for yourself. So you're literally butting heads with your own goals by doing that. So by all means, go out with your friends and go out with them. Just learn a little bit of impulse control, if you will, a little bit of restriction. It's fine to go out, but then don't order like a Big Mac, or don't order like chicken nuggets, right? And I'm not saying a Big Mac or chicken nuggets are bad foods, by all means. I don't want to demonize foods. But if you don't have enough calories and you're on a restrictive diet, for a Big Mac, for 600 calories from a cheeseburger, or it's probably 800 calories from a cheeseburger, and you don't have 800 calories to allocate towards a cheeseburger, then that's fine too. The lion doesn't concern himself with opinions of sheep. Just because your friends are all going to eat a Big Mac does not mean you have to also. In fact, because all your friends are eating a Big Mac, this is actually a telltale sign, signal for you that the sheep are doing what they do and the lion needs to do what he does. So a lion, when he goes out, when he gets hungry, he eats the lowest calorie meal with the highest protein. So this looks like, basically, guys, any kind of meats, or dairy meats, or no, sorry, not dairy meats, right? Deli meats, or any kind of meats. But the best kind of meats are the leanest meats. So this means the meats with the least amount of fat. These are white meats like chicken breast, turkey, different kinds of bird, different kinds of duck is a very good one, very lean one. Bison is a very lean non-white meat. Now we're getting into red meats. You can go on to beef, or shredded turkey, or ground turkey. Any kind of meat that's lean is what you need to eat. That's what the lion eats when he goes out with his friends, and you can get this on any kind of menu. I mean, for the McDonald's example, you might be shit out of luck. You probably shouldn't be going to McDonald's no matter what. But if you do, and you have a lower amount of calories, right, just either eat just the meat, which is kind of disgusting in my opinion. I personally wouldn't do something like that. I would just get the smallest cheeseburger that they offer. So not the Big Mac, not the biggest one. Just get like a normal quarter-pound cheeseburger with no toppings. Just eat it like that. The meat, cheese, and the bun. Maybe you could put some bacon in there to add some crunch if that tickles your fancy, but it's about minimizing the damage and maximizing the outcome, right? So just minimize the damage. You don't have to eat whatever your friends are eating just strictly because they're eating it. You don't have to do whatever your friends are doing just because they're doing it. For example, if your friends are going out at night to kind of drink and get fucked up, I'm not saying drinking and getting fucked up is bad, right? I have that bottle of effing vodka right there in my room. I drink sometimes too, and it's no problem, but it's about minimizing the damage and maximizing the results, right, guys? So you don't want to drink every day. If you're someone that struggles with impulse control around alcohol and drugs in specific, then it's about minimizing the environmental exposure to those kinds of things and maximizing the result that you're going to get. So you don't want to go out and drink and overindulge with your friends if you know that every time you get drunk you end up binge eating. Or you don't want to go out and smoke a bunch of weed with your friends if you know that every time you smoke weed you end up going to the gas station and buying a fucking pack of watermelon Sour Patch Kids, right guys? Very personal example there, but but you guys know what I'm saying, right? I did actually, just to get a little vulnerable and a little transparent, I struggled with this big time back in my day. Because I did used to smoke in high school with my friends a little bit of marijuana because it helped with some of my medical symptoms that we don't have to get into right now. But that's what it did, and it made me really, really crave those fucking watermelon Sour Patch Kids at the gas station. Those things were wreaking havoc on my life. And even prior example, way before that, were Gushers. I would always be exposed to Gushers and I would eat like the whole pack. I couldn't control myself. Whenever we'd get a box of Gushers, I would eat the whole thing, like every single pack. I couldn't stop. And until I implemented this mindset where it's like, what would the sheep do? What would the lion do? Then I really wasn't able to control myself. But once I implemented that mindset, I was able to control myself because every time I'd eat a pack of Gushers, I would realize, fuck, this is a sheep activity. This is not a lion activity. And so if you do sheep activities too often, you're going to turn into a sheep, right? And if you do lion activities more often, you're going to turn into a lion, right? So a lion does not concern himself with the opinions of sheep. Whenever you run into these environmental kind of barricades or environmental kind of issues, then just ask yourself, are you a sheep? Are you a lion? You should remind yourself that you're a lion. You're an absolute fucking winner. You do whatever it takes to get to your goals, no matter the cost. And your life is based around health, wealth, and relationships, and maximizing the outcome, minimizing the damage to those things. Because you know if you reinforce these pillars, then your house overall, representing your life, will be more reinforced, more built, more stable, and all around more happy. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you have any questions or need a little bit of motivation, shoot me a message. I'm always here to help you guys out, and I will see you all in the next training.
Thank you so much for tuning in today. Hopefully you got some value. If you did get value and you want to learn a little bit more about how you can go from saggy flabs to six-pack abs, just head over to my Instagram @_GarrettWolf, DM me the word six-pack, and I'll reach out to you and see if I can help. Again, thank you guys so much for tuning in today, and I will see you all in the next podcast episode. Peace.